Hey everyone, Dan Mortimer with eXp Realty bringing you another weekly market update for the Henderson and Las Vegas markets. This is the update with data as of January 13th, 2025. Oh my gosh, I'm still getting used to saying that. So we completed our first full week without a big holiday in the middle of it. In 2025. We're well into January now. We're coming up on the middle of the month. So let's take a look at the data for the last 7 days and see what's going on in our market. Like I said, this is our first kind of normal week, I guess you could say, for Henderson and Las Vegas in the new year. So let's dive into the data, see what's going on. First and foremost, 689 new listings hit the market in the last 7 days. And we also had 123 properties that went back on the market, had a deal in place, deal fell apart, property goes back active on the MLS, 123 of those. We had 534 properties that saw a price decrease of some kind. Could be $1, could be $100,000, whatever it is. 534 price decreases. And then as far as under contracts go, we've got 196 that went into under contract show status, another 298 that went into under contract no show status. So in total, you're talking about, what would that be, 494 listings that went under contract compared to 689 new listings. We had 337 properties that went into sold status, sale closed out, 337 of those, and 54 more properties went into coming soon status, meaning they will be active on the MLS in 30 days or less. Getting into the active inventory numbers, the overall numbers, we have 5,453 single family homes that are active on the market. We have 1,144 condos and another 784 townhomes that are active on the MLS. And I get people sometimes that get a little bit mystified and kind of get a messed up concept of the inventory. Yes, 5,400 homes sounds like a lot. 1,144 condos sounds like a lot. But when you consider that there are millions of people that live in the Las Vegas area, even 1 million to have just 5,400 homes is not a lot of inventory. That said, we are still seeing the number of new listings exceeding the number of under contract listings, at least for now. I think the reason the listing number was so high is like I've kind of said the last few weeks, there are a lot of people that were getting their homes ready. Maybe they were hosting people for the holidays. They wanted to get through the new year. They wanted to get in January and then pull the trigger on listing the home. So I think that's part of the reason why we saw the number of new listings pick up so much. The other thing that I talked about last week was the buy downs. And I think that's something that may also be a factor as well, where you have people that have bought a home in the last 3 years, especially people that bought in 2022 when the rates first jumped, or even in early 2023, really throughout 2023 and most of 2024. A lot of lenders have these buy down products that basically it allows you to kind of temporarily buy down your rate, so you have a lower interest rate, but after your first year it goes up, and then the second year it goes up again, depending on the program that you had. So you might see people with higher interest rates, and now they're in a position where they're not necessarily seeing their income go up to reflect that, and they get into a tight spot and they may need to sell. So there are definitely some good opportunities out there for buyers. I think we're still kind of in that unique window of opportunity. I've been talking about this for about 3-4 months now, where sellers are willing to be flexible on terms because the market overall is slow. The inventory is still pretty low. So homes are just not moving as quickly as they did in 2020 and 2021 and even into 2022. It's balanced, but it's kind of slower across the board. So if you're looking to buy a home, this is still a really good opportunity to get flexible terms, get a little bit of a break on price potentially, get some of your closing costs covered if you're getting a mortgage, or even just the seller's going to be more willing with credits and contingencies and things like that. So it gives you a little bit more leeway than if we get into the spring months and it's a feeding frenzy and we can't keep new listings on the market for more than a few days at a time. You're going to have a lot more competition. It just makes things that much more difficult, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. If you're getting an FHA loan or something like that, putting 3.5% down. Comparing that to somebody who's putting 20 to 25% down or more, or paying cash, it just makes it that much harder for buyers to kind of break through and get the home that they're looking for. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of focus on in this video is there are a lot of listings that are not included in this in new construction homes. I've talked about it a few times. You see on this channel, I do walkthroughs of new construction communities and other existing inventory in the market as well. But new construction homes, to me, still represent the best opportunity, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. It gives you an opportunity to get into the market with potential equity and getting a really strong discount, getting some of your costs covered. Now, why is that? These builders, they build large communities. Some of them are smaller, 40, 50 homes, but a lot of them are selling at least a couple hundred homes, and they do it in phases. But sometimes they have buyers that go under contract and then they have to back out. Their financial situation changes, or they just have homes that they don't have buyers for because the market's been pretty sluggish for the last 6 months. So these builders are not thinking the same way that a single family homeowner is. A single family homeowner, depending on their motivation, if their home's sitting on the market for 3-6 months, something like that, they're feeling like, oh, I don't need to move. When the right buyer comes through, I'll sell, and until then I'll keep my price the same. But these builders, every day that the property is not sold and they don't have someone living in that home making payments or paying for it, they're losing money. They're spending money on power bills, property taxes, all kinds of stuff that they're having to pay. And so every day that they don't sell that home, it gives them a sense of urgency. So a lot of builders, not every single one, but a lot of these builders, a lot of these communities have homes that they need to move, that are move-in ready. You can, as soon as your loan is closed, you can move in. It could be a few weeks, could be a month, whatever it may be. But they're willing to give great incentives, and sometimes they offer discounts on these move-in ready homes. Now, the caveat is, if you like customizations, you like to have input on the cabinets, the flooring, the window coverings, all that stuff, some of that's going to be preset on a move-in ready home because it's obviously built. You're not going to be able to choose out your cabinets and your tile and things like that. It's going to be set and built and ready to go. But if you're in a pinch, or if you just want to get into something quickly, maybe you've got a lease coming up, don't close your mind to these new construction homes. Because to me, they represent a really, really great opportunity, especially as things pick up in the market. Now, when the market picks up and there are more buyers flooding it, flooding the resale homes, are also going to be going to new construction homes, and the incentives typically go down from there. When they have less inventory and they have more demand, they tend to pull back on some of the incentives that they offer. So that's why this represents a good window of opportunity. The other nice thing is they're continuing to build and they're continuing to raise prices as they sell a few homes at a time. They always kind of have a schedule in place for the phases. So they sell 4 or 5 homes in a phase, they release a new phase at a higher price. So you could be getting something at a discount and basically walking into, I've seen some that are as high as $40,000 or $50,000 worth of equity. Now that's an extreme case, not all of them are like that. But even if you could walk into a home and say, hey, I've got $10,000 to $20,000 of instant equity in this home, and it's going to continue to grow as the rest of the community gets built out. And I got a great home for a great price. I got most of my closing costs covered, or whatever that may be. It's one of the reasons that I think new construction homes are still probably the greatest opportunity in our market. There are lots of great resale homes available and sellers that are willing to be flexible there. But if you have the means and if the timing is right, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of the incentives that builders are offering right now. Now, it'll be interesting to see as we get into January, as we get into kind of our peak buying season, which typically starts kind of in February and runs really through kind of the end of the summer. It'll be interesting to see if our market evolves and we see that buyer demand come through, when it comes through, because we really didn't see too awful much of it last year, and even 2023 was more of a slow year. 2024, I believe, is going to go on record as the lowest number of total transactions since even before 2008, going back to 1994. The challenge that I think a lot of buyers are still facing, and I mentioned this in the past, is that the prices are a lot higher now than they were back then. Back in 2008, it was hard to get financing, but the homes were basically half off. Whereas now you're still paying a pretty strong price. Prices are at or near record highs. So it presents a bit of a challenge for buyers. So I don't want to encourage anybody to just jump in and buy for the heck of it and build up equity. There's some criteria to it. You have to have the means. You have to be thinking that you're going to stick around in Las Vegas for at least a few more years, if not more. And I think the other thing that I would encourage, especially first-time buyers to do, sometimes you get sucked into this kind of investor mindset where you almost feel like you're going to be flipping a property. But really, it's going to be your primary residence. It's going to be the place where, you go into that next phase of life. Maybe you get married. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have a family now and your kids are going to grow up in this home. So you can't just look at the price and feel like you got to time the market perfectly or that you got to get in at the right price. You have to have a longer term strategy in mind and realize that this is something that you're going to be in for a while and that it's helping you get to that next phase of your life. You can't just be looking at it as if you're going to flip the property in 3 to 6 months, because that's not the case for most people. We live in our homes. We create memories in our homes. We host people. It's where our life happens. Many of us work from home as well. And so, having those as your priorities as opposed to, oh, well, I could have saved a couple $1,000s if I bought it this time, or I'm going to wait until the prices are this. It's counterintuitive, and for most buyers, it's something that really isn't that much of a factor when you're owning the home for 5 to 7 years at least. So that's the latest update for this week. It'll be interesting to see as we get through January if the buyer activity continues to pick up. We'll also be keeping an eye on the new inventory and see if we see that number of new listings continue to stay high, or if it dips back down now that we're kind of into the regular flow and not just in our first week of the new year after the holidays. So I hope you guys got some value from this. There are 2 ways that you can support this channel. The first, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. You can, if you want to learn about the process, if you're a first-time buyer, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to move in here from out of state, I'd be more than happy to connect with you. Go over your plan, go over your goals, put a plan in place so that we can help you, get into the right situation and basically put a game plan in place to help you to accomplish your goals. So I put a link in there. You can set up a free one-on-one meeting with me. There's no cost. There's no obligation. It just gives me an opportunity to get to know you better and see how I can help. The second way that you can support this channel is probably the easiest. It's subscribe. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. If you get value from these videos and you enjoy the content that I put together, like this video and subscribe to my channel. There's no cost to do so. Think of it as just like following me on any other social platform. But it gives you access to videos as soon as I post them, and it gives you a chance to just keep your ear to the ground on what's going on in the real estate market here in Henderson and Las Vegas. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I know these videos get a little bit long because I like to dive into different topics in addition to giving you an update. So I hope you got some value from this, and I will see you at the next one.